So today we're going to do the handover video on the Elddis Sunseeker 120. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. So firstly, coming over to the passenger side, you'll notice you've got your fill-up point here for your diesel, and opening up the passenger door will gain you access into the cab. Now here, you'll notice you've got your bonnet release catch on the passenger side there, along with your tyre pressures, which are just on the door sill here. I'll show you underneath the bonnet now. There's not much to know underneath the bonnet, if I'm being honest, but just to point out a couple of things to you, like your jump points and things like that. With your bonnet open, this will gain you access to your jumper points. So if you ever jump start in the vehicle, you've got your positive, which is just onto there, as indicated by the positive sign on the cap. Flick that up and your positive's onto there, and then just below that, onto this little nipple here, that's your negative, which is just at the front. They're the main bits, if I'm being honest. That's for your jump starting. And then just to show you a couple more things, you've got your engine oil here. As you can see, your dipstick is just below that. And then here, you've got your brake disc fluid, your engine coolant, your power steering fluid, and then finally your washer fluid for your windscreen there. Coming round to the other side of the vehicle, you'll notice you've got your cassette toilet, which is an access point into this here. I'll open this up for you now and show you how to empty it. With the cassette locker door open, this will gain you access to the cassette. To release this, all you need to do is pull up on the green tab at the below here and slide out. Simply pull towards you and that will release. Now you'll notice at the top of here you have got a slide out little funnel, and as indicated on here, this is where you can put pink fluid into this, which will be for your flush. So when you flush your cassette, it will use your pink fluid, which will be put in here to act as your flush. Now what I'll do for your cassette, I'm going to pull this out. I'll pull it onto the ground just to show you how to clean it and obviously empty it. With the cassette out on the floor, as you can see, when emptying this, all you need to do is pull out this funnel here, like so, remove this cap, and then using the green button on the back to release the vacuum will allow you to empty all the contents of the cassette. You'll notice you've got a cap on here along with a little green switch. Leave that as it is. That in essence will turn and make connection with the blade on the toilet, which will open the cassette so all the waste can go into. Now the main thing with this is to make sure that you only remove this once the blade on the inside of the toilet is closed, which I'll show you on the inside. But for example, if it feels like it's being forced, you're probably doing something wrong, so please bear that in mind and reevaluate. Always check that the blade on the toilet is closed before removing, so it doesn't end up getting jammed or broken. Moving on from the cassette, you've then got your truma vents, which is just on here. As you can see, we've got the cover on here, so when you're travelling, always make sure that the cover is on to avoid bits getting in the vent. But when on site and using the vehicle's heating and things, you need to always remove this cassette. To do that, put pressure on the top and using my hand here, pry away the vent like so, and that'll simply come off like it has now. And as I say, this is your vent, but always keep your cover on when you are travelling. The main thing that you need to obviously make sure is when you're on site and you are using the facilities and using the heating, that comes off, because if that doesn't, you'll simply gas out the system and you'll get an error code, which will then have you force you to reset your system. So to avoid that, always make sure that that's removed when in use, but then when not in use, put it back on. Next, you've then got a couple of options here. You've got an aerial point here if you ever wanted to watch a bit of telly outside, along with a 12 volt feed on the other side. In the middle, you've then got a water tank cap. Remove the water tank cap, put your hose pipe in there, then fill up your fresh water. Use a food grade hose pipe, and once it's coming back out, you know that you've filled this water tank all the way up. Now below this, you'll notice you have a blue pipe or a blue tap, which is just here. This is for your fresh water. You have three main drain down points in the vehicle. You have a fresh water drain down, wastewater drain down, and your boiler drain down. Your fresh and waste is external to the vehicle, and I'll show you where that waste one is in a minute, and your boiler drain down point is on the inside of the van. To empty this, you'll have a massive grid that you need to drive over. You then turn this and that will allow all this system to dump its water. All the water will therefore go into the grid, draining the system, and once you've done that with all your drain down points, you need to then, I recommend leaving them all open, and then when you're travelling home, the vibrations of the road will get all that water out. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to do any harm, it is just water. It doesn't contain any harmful chemicals. And as I say, that one's the fresh water drain down. Next, you've then got your gas locker, which is at the back here. The gas locker holds your gas bottles, but you need to make sure that you only turn your bottles on when the vehicle is in use and on stationary on a site. Never have your gas bottles turned on when you're travelling due to health and safety. Coming round to the back, you've got your reversing camera, as you can see, which is on the back there, along with your large window. Moving round, you've got a small compartment to the rear here. This houses your leisure battery, along with the hookup point to get electric to the vehicle. I'll open this up for you now. With it open, you can see that you've got access to the leisure battery, along with your 230 volt hookup point, using the lead that will allow you to get power to the vehicle. Below this system, as I've discussed, you've got your second drain down point, which is for your wastewater, where it's the exact same as the fresh water. You can see that this is waste due to the colour, it's in the grey pipe. Again, just turn that and that'll open it. Moving on, you've got your fridge vents, which are here. With your fridge vents, please make sure that this is sheltered, or try and get it under shade if it's a hot day, because as you can imagine, this is where the fridge pulls all of its air from, and if the sun is beating down on this side of the van, it's not going to do it any favours. So just bear that in mind. And when you are washing the vehicle, just be careful not to aim it directly into the fridge vent, aim it loosely around. You've then got your habitation door on this side, and then we're onto the inside of the vehicle. Now, before moving onto the inside, you'll notice you've got your awning on the side here. You've got a small little hook, which is just on this side, and on the inside of the vehicle, just next to the habitation door, you have a pole. The pole will simply connect onto here, and then you can wind out the awning. It'll wind out 2.5 meters or so, and then you've got some legs which will drop down from the awning. Now, when winding it out, wind it out to a point you can reach. Don't wind it out all the way. Wind it to a point you can reach, drop the legs and let it take the weight of the awning. Once you've done that, angle the legs and you can begin winding out and walking out the awning. Once you've done that, you want to put it away, do the same, just obviously vice versa. Now, with your awning, make sure that it's not used on a windy day, because at the end of the day, you'll simply the wind can catch it and it could snap off the vehicle, injuring someone or breaking your vehicle, so do be careful of that. So, moving on to the inside of the vehicle, you'll notice right at the bottom you've two buttons. First one is your step button. As you can see, through pressing that allows the step to come out, and next to this you've another switch. This switch is an isolator switch. If I turn that on, or off rather, you can see that the lights are all switched off. If I turn it on, it activates your lights, and that's just a simple isolator switch just to cut off power from the leisure battery to the vehicle. Now, coming in, you'll notice that you're greeted with your kitchen area, which is just here. For the kitchen, you've got your sink, and then you've got your hob, which is all gas. And obviously for that to operate, you need to make sure that your gas is all on. Below here, you've got your oven and grill with a small little igniter button here, along with your fridge. Now, with your fridge, this is a Dometic fridge and it's a three-way system. Three-way basically means that there's 3 ways to power it. In this position, all you need to do is turn it using the little dial there, and you can flick between the options, like so. In the down position, as you can see, you can run it off your gas. Moving it sideways, you can then run it off your 12 volt leisure battery, and then moving it upwards, you can run it off your 230 volt hookup cable. Now, when you're on site and you're using the vehicle on a hookup, you'll use it on the little hookup symbol. When you are travelling, you'll run it off the 12 volt leisure battery, and when you're wild camping, you'll run it off the gas. Now, a lot of people think that they can run the fridge off the gas, off the 12 volt when the wild camping. However, that is not the case, because you'll simply drain the vehicle of its battery. So if you are wild camping with the vehicle, you need to make sure that you run it off your gas. The only time that you'll run it off your leisure battery is, for example, when you're travelling, when the engine's running, because in essence how that works is the built-in alternator will send power to the leisure battery, which will therefore power the fridge. On this side you've then got the temperature for the fridge as well, so you can alternate between that. Opposite the kitchen area you have your bathroom suite. In here you've got, as I say, the main thing for this is your blade on the toilet. Your blade is this little piece of plastic here. Pull that across and that'll empty the system, or open the cassette rather, not empty, open. When in use you need to open the cassette like you have done there, and then all the waste can drop into the cassette. Once you've done that, click this blue button and that will flush using the pink fluid as I've shown you, and as I say, that'll flush the entire system. Once you've done that, flick this back up, this blade, and that'll close the cassette. You need to close it for one of two reasons. You need to firstly close it because it'll stop any odours from escaping, and then secondly it'll also get you in the habit of closing that system, so when you come to remove the cassette it's never jamming. So do get in the habit of that. As I've mentioned, your flush is here. It's worth mentioning that you need your pump on for that to activate, and then you can see that there's a little red light on there. The red light indicates that the cassette is full. At the moment it is full with water as we're just cleaning it. But this is just a little indicator there. Once you get this red light, of course you need to empty it. Now for your shower and for your taps, I'll get onto the details of priming your system when I come onto your control panels, but as you can see, they're just located here.